Welcome to the No Clue Podcast, episode 186. I'm one of your hosts. I'm Tyler.
I'm Mike.
Today, we're getting into the NFL. First game was last night. Talk about a couple predictions, players to watch. Then, of course, we'll talk about the NBA trades that happened and didn't happen. And a little bit of preview of the camp before that, I guess. So, let's talk about the game first.
Okay.
E-game.
A lot
Rams.
of hype built around the game. A good matchup.
Yeah, I would say that the Bills are a overwhelming Super Bowl favorite for some people this year, right?
I'd say for a lot of people.
Yeah. Against this, Super Bowl defending champs. So, what did you think? It was a whooping, obviously.
Yeah. Well, the Bills proved a lot of people right, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
They what surprised me is how many good defensive players they have.
Okay.
I'm not the super fan, so I don't know lineman names that well, but
yeah,
they had like 7 linemen who look like starters on the defensive end.
Yeah, they did.
And all these guys are pressuring, all these guys were breaking through the offensive line.
Yep.
I can't even think of another team that has that kind of depth just on their defensive line. And then on top of that, Von Miller's breaking in behind them.
Yeah. And he looks great.
Part.
Yeah, he looks fantastic too.
Yeah. So that was the story of the game to me, was like they had Matthew Stafford flustered off rip.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, he missed camp with some kind of elbow problem.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of showed because none of the new players really had chemistry with him, or the guys that were out for a while. But I mean, the Bills are just dominant. They were like this last year.
Yeah, and the Bills looked so fresh. And it's not like, they had basically the same time off season, but the Bills look like they had a whole nother season of rest than the Rams did.
I know.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Vaughn to Buffalo is going to be a beautiful marriage.
If he's healthy all year, good God.
Yeah.
Teams are in trouble.
Absolutely. I was impressed by some of the Bills' other receivers. Davis, I think it is, he's emerging as a solid, number 2 for them. They were firing on all cylinders, honestly. Yeah, there's really not anything negative to say about the Bills in this game.
But that's the thing, like they're one of the few teams that has no glaring weakness.
Right. That's true.
Maybe they don't have a running back, but Josh Allen is running through people like a fullback, so it doesn't really matter.
Stiff arming people down and everything. Yeah.
I mean, he gets bigger every year.
Seems like it.
Honestly, he's more mobile every year. He's stronger every year. 2 years ago, I thought he was an athletic freak. And watching the game yesterday, dude, he makes everybody on the field look little.
Absolutely.
I've never watched Matthew Stafford and was like, oh, maybe he's a little undersized. But going toe-to-toe against Josh Allen, I'm like, yo, Stafford's kind of small.
He looks weak for sure. Big time. Yeah.
Oh, my God. Dude. He was really trucking people.
He was trucking people. And then Rams defense that was so iconic last season, it was terrible last night.
It's bad.
And as good as Josh Allen,
Super Bowl hangover for sure.
Yeah. And as good as Josh Allen played, like we mentioned this off air, those guys were wide open. All his passes were easy passes. I mean, for a Pro Bowl quarterback, I'm not saying just anybody could make the passes, but they were easy passes for him. He really wasn't in a lot of danger often. A lot of times when he ran, it was just because he wanted to more than because he had to.
Yeah.
Like he didn't really have to scramble that much. So that was a little bit disappointing from the Rams' perspective. I think Jalen Ramsey was just nowhere to be found.
Which I could say the same thing for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
But no, honestly, like what's weird to me is how surprised everybody is that like Josh Allen is so dominant. Like this was nowhere near as dominant as I've seen him. I mean, in the playoffs last year, he literally played against the Patriots and he didn't have to punt one time.
I know, yeah. I think it's a little odd that they are hyping up this game as if, he's shown us something he's never shown us before.
The Bills hype, it deserves to be crazy right now. Because to me, like after a game like this, I don't know any other matchup that can help a team prove more than the Bills just did, beating the defending champs like this.
Yeah.
So, the Bills are obviously the team to beat. But Josh Allen, we've seen how dominant he could be.
Right. Yeah. And it's been the other guys that we weren't sure we could count on with Josh. It's been the chemistry with the other guys that has been the question mark, never who he is.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay. I don't really have anything else on the game, do you?
No, man, I think that was the last Thursday night game not on Amazon, right? I think next week they go to Amazon, like the new broadcast or whatever.
Yeah.
That's going to be interesting.
Yeah, big time. Okay. So let's talk about the season coming up. I feel like if you're a super NFL fan, you've heard a lot of talks about it a lot by now. Give me some of the teams you're most interested in seeing off the top of your head.
Miami's a big one.
Me too.
I have a couple friends at work who are from Florida and they're big Miami fans. So they, I've talked to them about them all the time, but they've already showed that they could play well. And all they've done over the last 2-3 off seasons is upgrade the roster. Did they upgrade at head coach? I don't know, but the talent is there.
Yeah.
So I think they could be very interesting.
Shout out to my boy Malik from West Virginia. He works at the stadium. Yeah. But yeah, man, me too. They're high on my list. I have a player on that team as one of my players to watch this season for sure. They being in the Bills division is not fun.
No, it's not.
It shouldn't be close, obviously, with the other two teams. So they should be fine.
Yeah.
I think they have the good thing about it with NFL is if they can beat the Bills, then they're good. All they have to do is get past the Bills, which is not easy, but at least you don't have to beat a bunch of really good teams. So,
I'm not sure about their schedule, and they weren't a playoff team last year, so their schedule can't be that difficult.
Right. Exactly.
So I imagine they're going to have a good amount of games they can win.
Yeah, and I believe that everybody is healthy for them, right? All the starters, at least.
As far as I know, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Who else? Who else you got?
Trying to stay in the AFC. I'm interested in the Steelers, believe it or not.
Okay. Who they got starting at quarterback? Have they decided?
Trubisky, yeah, they picked Trubisky, and normally I that sucks. That's a shitty pick, but it was an upgrade, over what they've had with Big Ben the last several years.
And Rudolph.
And Rudolph is still there. He's still there. He can't crack the rotation.
Well, as I'm saying, it's an upgrade from having to start him.
Right. No, but they got the rookie Kenny Pickett.
Yes.
And the thing with that is like I don't really know their weapons.
I know Juju is gone.
Right. I know the running back is pretty good, but I'm not. I can't have faith in a rookie quarterback with just a running back.
Right.
So I think Trubisky's a good guy to start. Even if he's not playing well, I'd give him like a quarter of the season. But they've always been a good defensive team.
always a good defensive team. Tomlin is a great defensive
Right.
coach.
Top tier coach always.
And one thing that in football that never fails is that the team style makes the quarterback sometimes,
Yeah.
Trubisky may not have ever had the style that suits how he plays, and maybe this could be it. It happens
But
all the
you
time.
think about it, he went to the playoffs with the Bears. I
Mhm.
believe I'm probably wrong on this, but he was almost a Pro Bowler, if not a Pro Bowler.
He had a really good season. I remember. Yeah,
That year
for
when
sure.
the coach got coach of the year, I remember they
Mhm.
won like a lot of games in a row. They weren't good in the playoffs, but that doesn't really surprise me. But
Right.
my thing is Trubisky was at his best when everything clicked with the team.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
the Steelers are poised to click much better than the Bears are.
And he was a Pro Bowler,
He was exactly
2018.
so there's
Mhm.
some talent there. He's not a total like scrub.
They act like he is. Like the media acts like he is, and he definitely isn't.
I mean, he does sometimes he just like throws the ball and it's just I don't know what he's doing.
Yeah.
But
You know,
again, you're upgrading like organizations, you're upgrading coaching. To me, they're poised to surprise because they're not expected to be very good.
right. It's true. Very true. Very, very true. Okay. Um, what about the NFC? Let's go to the NFC.
You got any teams?
Yeah. Um, I think the Saints are going to be interesting this year. Very, very interesting. Not saying they're going to be, the best team, and they're out there with the Bucks, but I think that they've made a few moves. I think that they're trending in the right direction as far as maturity goes, um, health goes. I think they should have a good season this year. I don't know if they're going to be, they're not contenders or anything like that, to me at least. But I do think they should have a pretty good season this year.
Is Michael Thomas is healthy now finally?
I believe he should be healthy early into the season. I'm not sure if he's ready for the first game.
Dude, what was it? What was it that had him out for so long? It was ankle or something.
I gotta look it up. Yeah,
But
ankle. Yeah,
I swear, man, since Drew Brees retired, he has not been able to stay healthy.
you're right. Yeah,
And
he
and I
hasn't.
hate that because like their quarterbacks have been limited. But I think
Hmm.
a guy like Jameis, like you could, I mean, it sounds bad, but you could get away with starting Jameis when you have a top three, top five, number one option.
Yeah.
And at one
Yep.
point, to me, he was the best like get yards receiver in the league.
Hmm. Yeah, and they got he should be back. They got Jarvis Landry. They got Mark Ingram. They got Camaro should be back. I think they got a lot of They're moving Taysom to tight end.
I like
So
it.
yeah, they got a lot of interesting things going on. I think they may surprise somebody, definitely.
Yeah.
They would be my surprise team for the NFC. You got any in the NFC?
I got a surprise team. I think the Vikings.
Okay.
They lost last year a lot of games like by either a field goal or a touchdown.
Yes.
So they
Very
like
close.
the line of their record saying how good or bad they are is a little skewed.
Yeah, it is.
They're talented as hell all over the place.
Yep.
Similar to the Rams, they have stars. I mean, not as well known as Aaron Donald or Cooper Kupp, but Justin Jefferson's elite. Their
Yeah.
defense has
Dalvin Cook
played
is
elite.
still there.
Dalvin Cook is elite.
Yeah.
And Cousins has an offensive coach now, if I'm not
Hmm.
mistaken.
Yeah.
And Cousins, even without an offensive coach, has been solid for them.
Hmm.
He really just needs to be like a little bit better for them to really change that. Like instead of losing 6 one possession games, you go 3-3, you're potentially in the playoffs
Yeah.
because they're
Yeah.
capable of beating anybody to me.
They were probably the most competitive non-playoff team last season to me.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can
And
agree
then
with that.
they got Ty Chandler from I want to say UNC running back. He was a pretty nice pick, I think. One of the picks I thought may do something. And like you said, Justin Jefferson. I mean, they have a solid team. Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I was very curious when they got a more offensive coach.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was kind of their, like, seeing some of their games, it's like real, like 17-17. I'm like, dude, Kirk Cousins is throwing for 350 and you're putting up 17 points, or Dalvin Cook is getting, 150 yards and you're putting up 20 points.
Right.
Like something was just missing.
Yeah, you're right. Definitely, you're right. Yeah. Okay. Let's go to our conference title game picks.
Oh, okay.
Who do you think in the AFC? Give me your top two. Really, just the top two teams in the AFC for you.
Bills are the obvious number one.
Yeah.
Not the Bengals. I can't. I don't see it.
They'd have to surprise me again.
I don't see it with the Ravens. I don't see it. I don't want to pick the Chiefs because they're such an easy second pick.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be honest with you, and this is kind of a wild pick just to not pick the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the Colts are primed to come out.
Colts?
The Colts with Matt Ryan, yeah.
Wow.
Those same Matt Ryan Colts who now don't have a quarterback who'll do really dumb shit in the red zone. Thank God.
True. It's very true.
Another team who lost a lot of close games last year, and they literally needed to win 2 of 3 and didn't do it at the end of the year against really shitty, like the Jaguars. I remember they lost to.
Yeah. They
got
lost some really dumb games.
A significant upgrade at quarterback. Jonathan Taylor is debatably the best running back in the league.
He definitely had the best season last year to me. Definitely.
Another team that
really
you could count on their defense to be elite.
Mm-hmm. Their defense was exceptional last year too.
I honestly, seeing a lot of their losses, I gotta say, getting rid of Carson Wentz was the big W they needed.
Yeah.
Even if they didn't get Matt Ryan.
Did they really lose anyone else? I don't think
Not that
so.
I know of. They didn't lose Darius Leonard, the linebacker, who's like probably one of the best linebackers in the league. He's been there a long time. I mean, they were so good last year until like the last 5 games.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't, with the quarterback in the red zone, literally just tossing it to the other team. You're like on the verge of the comeback and the quarterback just kills it. Matt Ryan is not doing that.
Right.
Thank God. So I really think the Colts are primed to make a good run.
I agree. Matt Ryan is a much better down the field quarterback than Wentz too.
And you think about it, he's been a down the field quarterback. When was the last time Atlanta had a running game?
Never.
That Devontae Freeman, that was like ancient history.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going from that where it was a mess. You were in a rebuild the last like 3 years.
Yeah.
To now, like the tools are there for you to succeed and not even have to do as much work.
Mm-hmm.
So I just think they're primed to succeed.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Now convince me with the Chiefs.
Actually, I'm not going to pick the Chiefs because my heart picks the Chiefs, obviously. I'm picking the Chiefs every year, basically, that Mahomes is healthy.
If I was a betting man, I'd be putting money on the Chiefs every year.
Right, exactly. But I am going to go with the Raiders this year. It's not a hot take, obviously. But again, they're another team, I think, maturity-wise, they should be there now. There's no drama this season to deal with like they have had the last 2 seasons. Shouldn't be any drama this season, at least, starting now. But last 2 seasons have been just a disaster as far as the coaching, the front office, everything has just kind of went downhill.
And they went to the playoffs.
Exactly. Even dealing with all that. And they got Devontae Adams. So I just don't imagine them being worse. I feel like they should either be just as good or better than they were last season. So I don't really have a lot to say about it. I mean, I just think they should be there. They should be there this season.
Yeah.
So I'll pick them as the other with the Bills.
You know why? I can give you a legit reason why I don't pick the Chiefs. It's the division.
Yeah.
That division skyrocketed to the most competitive division in the league this year.
They added 2 Hall of Famers, you know?
I mean, you're 4 for 4, all elite quarterbacks on every team.
Mm-hmm.
Good organization. Well, maybe not good organizations, but currently making the right moves, all 4 teams.
Yeah, and all 4 teams should have top 10 offenses in the league.
Oh, yeah.
Just based off their quarterbacks and just how they, their style, their systems. So, yeah.
Like, to me, Russell Wilson going to Denver just made this, like, no, there's not going to be a free win in that division in, like, 3 years.
Exactly. Yeah. You're going to have to beat everybody there. And then they're going to have to beat the Bills to make it. Because the Bills won't lose. They shouldn't lose. You got to actually beat them. So
I know.
And that's the other thing with those teams. None of those guys are losers.
Nah. But that's the thing. Like, those 4 teams, I could still look at something and say it's not a strength.
Mm-hmm.
Like, or I could look at some and say it's a weakness. With the Bills, I can't do that.
Right. That's a fact. That is a fact. Okay, NFC. Let's do it.
Give
Giants
me your 2 picks first. I like it. Giants, Lions.
Fighting for last.
Shout out to the Lions, man. They've been I've seen some of the clips of their Hard Knocks season, and their coach looks like a lot of fun to hang out with.
But not to coach.
No, he looks fun to coach too. I mean, they seem to be having a ton of fun, and they were another team that actually did lose a lot of close games last year.
Yeah, and bad losses too, like really shacked in a fool ending games.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Cardinals. I shouldn't have to say anything about the Cardinals, and
it's a lot of X factors.
Yeah, but I'm with it. I think the Rams are shot. I will say that. I'll say the Cardinals and Tampa Bay, of course. Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay and Arizona. Man, the NFC is weak, man.
It is.
It's really, really weak.
It is. You really like, and the fact that, like, now that we just looked at the AFC and you're really like scratching your head over, I mean, the wild card picks alone are really hard.
Yeah.
NFC, it's not a problem at all. I mean, maybe there's going to be different wild cards because a lot of teams are going to probably exceed expectations. But I think the 49ers are a lock to go to the NFC Championship.
Okay.
And again, Tom is just such an easy pick. But I do think Tampa Bay, like, they're not going to protect him this year.
Hey,
you like, I get it. Doubting the go, I understand. It's a bad look. I get it.
He'll look up at you from the bench.
But you know what? Instead of I'll let the GOAT go since you picked him and he's going to be in the running, obviously.
Yeah.
I'm going to trust a team that doesn't deserve my trust one last time.
The Cowboys?
No way. That team never had my trust, okay? A team that fooled me into trusting them a lot of years, a lot of easy division crowns, a number of easy MVPs, I'll even say. for a certain quarterback.
The Packers?
The Packers. They're going right back to the
no.
NFC Championship game to get destroyed by the Niners again.
You should bet however much you want to bet on that because you will make a lot of money. Because I don't think
it's a
anybody believes that.
guarantee. If the Packers run into the 49ers, they're getting destroyed.
If the Packers run into anyone in the NFC West, they're getting destroyed. I think Seattle might even be able to take them.
Stop. Don't disrespect.
Hey.
Don't disrespect. Rodgers is good. First of all, a team like Seattle is exactly who Rodgers destroys.
Maybe.
We'll see what
he does.
That's an easy 22 of 27, 3 touchdowns, no picks.
I think they're gonna be poo, man. I think they're gonna be really bad. The Packers.
You think are gonna be bad? I think they're gonna be like frauds again, but I think they're gonna get a lot of wins being frauds.
Oh, so you think they're gonna have a good record and get destroyed when it comes to good teams?
I mean, you're making the point. The NFC is not that good.
I think the Giants beat them this year.
Stop, bro. You're crazy.
We get them this year, baby. Let's go, Giants.
No, think about it. The Niners and the Rams are the only 2 teams I can legitimately are like, they'll beat the Packers every game. If they play them 10 times, they'll beat. I can't say that about a single other team in the NFC. I mean,
no, you're right about that.
The Cardinals, you just had to tell the quarterback to study. I can't. Your number one receiver is missing a third of the year.
The Cardinals and the Cowboys are in the, I don't know what they'll do this year.
Like they're in place. They could be as good as like anyone but the Bills, but we should expect them not to be.
I'm with you on that. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm still gonna go with them, man. I think they'll turn it on when the time is right, when they need to. And they got Hollywood Brown, man. Of course.
I will say. I hope I'm right about the Minnesota prediction or the Minnesota being an interesting team because I'm really getting sick of the Packers. Like Rodgers owns that division and it's sick. Somebody has to put a stop to it.
Yeah.
Hey, please, I'm tired of them going to the if they again go to the NFC Championship game and get destroyed, I'm seriously, I'm gonna come on here and scream. Like I'm never giving Aaron Rodgers credit for any level of greatness ever.
The crazy thing is, for a lot of people, he gets more and more credit for greatness for doing that, going and getting destroyed.
He's gonna win MVP, I never destroying all the scrubs, and then just not put himself in harm's way in the critical games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We'll see what happens, man. Let's do the players to watch. So I have some players I definitely want to talk about.
Yeah.
My number 1 is Tua. I'm not going to say his last name because I'm not going to butcher it. But everyone knows Tua. He has no excuse to be trash this year. None. He has every weapon. Every weapon. The line looks great. He is, the coach is basically there for him, it seems like, from what I've heard with the press conferences and everything. The front office seems like they're there to coddle him until he figures it out. But he has to figure it out this year.
This is it.
Yeah, this is it. Or else they're definitely going to start looking around.
Definitely. What happened with Baker and the Browns?
Yes.
I could see a similar situation. I mean, Tua's a little more mature, so I don't think it'll be like a dramatic thing.
Mm-hmm.
But kind of like what Jimmy G and the Niners went through, except I doubt he'll return.
Right. Yeah. So he's definitely my number 1 player to watch as far as what is going to happen with him, how good he plays. Not necessarily he's going to be the best player to watch, but he's someone to keep an eye on because whatever happens with him shakes up that whole division, probably. Because if they get a new quarterback there, depending on who it is, they could really be competitive with the Bills. If he's not already competitive with the Bills. So that's mine. My first one. You go next.
Sticking with quarterbacks, Derek Carr.
Yes.
You mentioned the Raiders. That's what I was kind of saving it for, but like the fact that he hasn't gotten MVP hype is kind of disrespectful to me.
He's another one, doesn't have a lot of excuses this year.
Nah, and I mean, he had a ton of excuses last year, and it didn't matter at all.
Exactly.
So, and he's always been a good leader. He's never had there's never been issues in the locker room, no matter what's happened.
Nope.
He's kept everybody together. He even navigated. You remember what a disaster Antonio Brown was over there for the month that he was there?
Yep.
He even navigated that without anything controversial. He didn't disrespect AB, didn't throw the team under the bus in any of the situations. He's been a good leader.
He has, man. I mean, even just to make it out the Gruden situation,
I know,
was impressive.
I know.
Seriously.
So
to us, that's been
go ahead.
That's been 3 years of drama.
Yeah.
Or 2. I can't even remember when Antonio Brown was there because
at least 2, and Gruden never even publicly supported Carr.
True, yeah.
So Carr was playing at a high level, while the coach was thinking of another quarterback.
Yeah.
So he's been tested, man. Like you said, there's no excuse, and there's really no reason to doubt him.
Right.
If Devontae's healthy, which he hasn't been, so maybe that's going to be an issue. But if they were fine without him last year, I see no issue why Derek Carr can't go off.
I agree. I mean, they already have Waller, Renfro. They got the Abdullah from the Lions at running back. Josh Jacobs. I mean, they're stacked. They got a squad. Offense is stacked. I don't really know if they could even add someone to make them better on offense. And they already did with Adams. So
I know. And we didn't even mention that Adams and Carr are college best friends.
Yeah.
Like legitimately brother type best friends. And that goes that goes such a long way.
Yep. Yeah. I have nothing to add. I mean, you're right.
I'm excited for the Raiders, man. They're in a good spot.
One thing that's tough with the NFL, with the media, is that if they don't already support you as MVP, it's really hard to get it out of nowhere.
Yeah, you gotta put up the crazy stat performances.
Yeah,
and then the talk shows have to start shouting you out.
Yes.
And then a month of shouting you out, you're finally in the MVP debate. Unless you're Aaron Rodgers, in which case it's automatically yours.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers gets MVP before every season starts. So it's I mean, basically, and then all he has to do is just play well, and then he gets MVP.
Yeah.
So Carr, it's going to be tough for him this year, maybe next year. This year it'll be tough, but I think he does deserve it. Deserve the look, because I definitely think he'll get the numbers. I'm confident. I don't see a lot of interceptions coming from him this season either. So
yeah. And he's always in the top percentages as far as accuracy goes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. My next one, my last quarterback, I believe, Jalen Hurts, man. I've been championing Jalen Hurts for
good pick.
What is it? This is his third year, 3 years. The Eagles have made a couple moves. They're getting a lot younger. They're getting rid of a lot of the guys who had a very old, not just age, but philosophy about the game, it seems like. Bad mentalities. They're really weeding out the the guys who aren't buying in, I guess, is probably the best way to put it. The new coach is doing a really good job with that. I mean, it looks like a good job. I I wouldn't know if it's a good job, but it looks like a good job. They're putting talent around Jalen Hurts now. They're getting him a line finally. He's not at the no excuse place yet, but he definitely is at a place where, hey, we should see some trending upward for you.
Yeah, 100%, man. I'm a huge Hurts fan.
And the rest of the roster is just, it seems like they're really getting better every year.
Yeah,
it does. And like I said, getting younger for the most part. But yeah, getting AJ Brown was huge.
It is. Yeah. But they seem like they're really, their organization as a whole functions very well.
Mm-hmm.
They seem to adjust to like things they lack, after a season. They go out and fill things they're missing. They seem to draft solid players. I mean, they find guys off the practice squad that come in and catch passes.
Yeah. They have.
Who was the guy? They had like Olympic, a quarterback catching passes at one point.
Yeah, I don't remember who it was, but I know what you're talking about. But they also have Devon Allen, who's an Olympic runner on their practice squad right now, as wide receiver. I mean, he's like the fastest 13th. I don't remember what he's ranked, but he's a 2-time Olympian. I mean, yeah, he might surprise people and be out there on the field for a couple of games this season, and he'll be the fastest player in probably the entire league. So,
and to me, the Eagles got 6 easy wins on the schedule.
Yeah, for sure.
At least 4. Okay, maybe the Cowboys. We don't have to get into that, but the Giants and Commanders. Those are if you're not 4-0 in those games, I'm asking for the Cowboys to go to the playoffs.
Yeah,
because that's one thing the Cowboys do take care of is they beat the scrubs in their division.
They do. They definitely do. And like we mentioned about how weak the whole NFC is. I mean, Eagles shouldn't really have that much problem with the rest of these teams either.
No.
In the
Eagles in a first round game against the Packers would get them out of there.
Yeah.
Quickly.
Yeah. Yeah. So and it's all comes down to how Hurts is. If he can be as versatile as I guess what his potential says he should be, people, we think he should be more mobile. He doesn't really do that much. But when he does it, it looks fantastic. He just doesn't do it that much. He's got better receivers now, so the reads should be easier. He should just be getting better, and I think he's definitely someone to watch. I think he's a lot of fun to watch too.
Yeah, he should
another really good leader.
Oh yeah, he's that's been obvious, but he should have like a Josh Allen progression as far as throwing the ball. Like you don't got to be deadly accurate or pinpoint accurate, but you still like your reads are bad a lot of the time. And now we're in year 2 as a full-time starter.
Mm-hmm.
Like now we really should be those games, those 300-yard games you were having against like the Falcons and the scrubs of the league. Yeah. Now we should be having some of those against the big games.
Yep.
And I believe in that.
I believe it too. And all they need from him is to hit guys when they're open, because guys are definitely going to be open this season. So, yep. What you got?
My last quarterback, Trevor Lawrence.
Okay.
Trevor Lawrence. We talked about it's similar situation with the Raiders, but you just moved on from the most toxic coaching situation I might have ever seen.
Yeah.
I mean, Gruden had issues with his character that didn't really bother how he coached.
At least from what we could see, at least.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, Urban Meyer, good God, that was a disaster.
Yeah.
Good Lord. Just thinking back to all the shit that happened with them last year, the fact that the only times I thought about the Jaguars last year was like stupid shit off the field.
Yeah. Or really just what he was doing, what
I
Urban
mean,
Meyer was doing.
dude, I mean, I'll never forget the fact that he didn't travel back with them.
Mm-hmm.
He stayed to hang out with family after an L. That to me, like the fact that he lasted like 9 games beyond that is a
And where he
miracle
hung
in itself.
and where he hung out with his family
Oh
at.
my God, dude. I'm not even gonna deep dive that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that could literally be a whole like podcast topic on
Yeah.
that whole situation.
It could, yeah. Yeah.
But I
Uh,
mean,
I don't
back to Lawrence though, to keep it with Lawrence.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, the talent is there.
Absolutely.
I mean, you went from the worst coach ever to to me a quality coach.
Yeah,
Now,
he's quality.
personally, I can't forgive the disrespect Doug Peterson did to the game when you remember against your Giants when he
Yeah.
benches Jalen Hurts, even though they're
Yeah.
like trying to win the fucking game
Yeah.
and blatantly plays the scrubs. And then after the game tries to say that he was trying to win the game.
Yeah.
Personally, I can't forgive that. But that aside, he's still a decent coach.
I really can't forgive him waiting so long to play Hurts in the first place.
Yeah.
When Wentz was playing like absolute garbage, he was the worst quarterback in the league.
Yes,
and he still was like, Hurts he's not ready.
Yeah.
No, he's
11.
not ready.
Let's wait 12 games before giving him a crack.
Yeah, and Wentz was like leading the league in interceptions at the time.
Yeah.
So
Wentz was leading the league in like breaking his receivers' fingers because he was just chucking shit randomly. I don't know what he was doing.
yeah, he was horrible.
And to me, he barely got better in Indianapolis. Barely.
It was just in New Jersey.
Yeah.
It just looked better.
Yeah. But back to Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
Like he looked spectacular in college, and he looked like a fucking disaster last year.
Yeah, the whole team was a disaster.
Exactly. Like that situation is so toxic. I can't hold anything against them really for last year.
Yeah.
I mean, and it doesn't really surprise me. They're a bad organization. They're one of the bottom teams in the league.
Mm-hmm.
They've been that. I mean, I'm watching football for 15 years. They've been the bottom of the league.
I think they had one really good season.
Here. Yeah, with Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah, when Ramsey emerged. And that's the only good season they've had.
When they blew the 10-point lead to Tom Brady.
Mm-hmm.
Because they played it safe at halftime, I remember.
Yeah.
But I just think the tools are there. His weapons, the running back they had last year who was hurt before the season started, he's healthy now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, their roster has players I've seen play well.
Yeah, they do. Absolutely.
So I think at least Lawrence, like I'm still not interested in them. I don't trust them to win a lot of games.
Yeah.
But the jump Joe Burrow had from year 1 to 2,
yeah,
I would like to see something similar to that from Lawrence.
I agree.
Just because Joe Burrow, like he put the Bengals on his shoulders, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Lawrence looked capable of that to me.
Yeah.
So I'm interested if he could do that.
And Etienne should be back for them too, right?
Yeah, he's the running back. He was hurt like training camp last year, I think.
Yeah. And that's Lawrence's boy. So I mean they should be straight, yeah. Okay. So one of my players to watch, we already talked about him a little bit, but I think that Von Miller is going to have the best defensive season in the league this year. I know that's not really that big of a hot take, but because Donald played so well last year, I feel like people forget that Vaughn was a big part of why they won last year. So he's my other player to watch for sure. I think he's going to be fantastic. I think he's going to be a menace, and I think the Bills, being as good as they are, will. I think a lot of times when the offense is really good and they're winning, everything that the defense does looks better. And
Yeah.
I think that the Bills, because they're going to win a lot, Von Miller is going to look really, really, really good for them. Because
Yeah.
all he has to do is just get stops. You don't have to force interceptions. You don't have to force fumbles. All you have to do is just make sure they don't score more than your team that's probably going to be the best scoring team in the league. So,
Yeah.
yep, that's it.
As far as defensive players go, I normally don't look
You
out for them. It's just shit I notice. But
you don't
I'll
have to
pick
pick
a no,
if you
I'll
don't
pick a
want
guy
to.
that I always like, just a must-watch player is Matthew, Honey Badger.
Yes.
He's to me like I don't know if there's better his instincts are just insane.
They are, man. It's
Insane.
really it's not fair at all.
He reads minds, like as the mind is thinking it, he's reading it somehow.
Yep.
Because there's so many times where, and it's always on the replay because you obviously don't really spot it. Like he completely disregards his job to read what the quarterback does and does it flawlessly.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. The only other guy I saw do that was Ed Reed.
And Hall of Famer.
Right. One of the best safeties ever. So
right.
he's just great to watch.
Yeah, and on the podcast I've been well documented as championing Honey Badger. He has the highest defensive IQ in the the history of my lifetime watching football. I won't say by a long shot, but probably since like Polamalu. That's probably the last person I remember being like, "Yo, it doesn't matter whatever your offense does. He's gonna figure it out." And he's part of why I said the Saints earlier. I didn't mention him when we were talking about him because we were talking about the offense so much, but him to that defense is going to change so much. He's one of the few instant impact guys that isn't a pass rusher like necessarily. So yeah, I'm excited for him there. And great pick. It seems like he doesn't age. I mean, he's been in the league for a while now, and it just really doesn't seem like it.
I know.
It seems like he's still kind of young.
Yeah, man. I hope he stays young for many more years.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. I don't think I have anyone else for my must watch. I will say this isn't crazy or anything, but it is kind of a contract, quote unquote, contract year for Lamar Jackson. And the rest of the team is pretty trash. The rest of the roster is pretty trash. So, no disrespect to the guys on the roster, but it looks pretty bad. So we'll see how he does.
As long as two names are in the lineup, Lamar Jackson and Mark Andrews. Like, I didn't forget that through half the season last year, they were leading the division.
Yeah. And
Lamar Jackson was on his way to being a back-to-back MVP.
And lost 4 running backs in one season.
Right. Yeah. Lamar was literally winning by himself.
Yeah.
He was coming back in the exact way his critics said he could not.
Yeah. And so they just will not stop with that, man.
Dude.
And they change it every year to like make it sound more correct instead of just acknowledging that they're wrong, that he really can do everything.
They'll word it however they can to make it sound like it's analysis.
Yeah, and it's just
like
hate.
That shit, it really bothers me.
It bothers me too, man.
It really does.
I could talk about it for the whole podcast, but I'm not going to do it, and I don't want to get too deep on the podcast, but it's obviously a deep-rooted thing going on with him.
I mean, bro, I've watched Josh Allen is like the NFL's favorite player all of a sudden. But I've watched Josh Allen throw the ball at anybody not named Stephon Diggs. He's thrown it at their fucking feet. I've seen him do that.
I know.
A lot.
For a whole season at times. Like for every game
for like a
Diggs
good
is
month
out.
at a time.
Yeah, yeah.
And everybody's like, yo, what a physical specimen. What, like, he's so big, he's so athletic, he's such a dominant. Lamar's doing the same thing.
And hitting guys in the numbers.
And the Bills are way better top to bottom as a roster than the Ravens are.
The Bills have 3 receivers better than the best receiver on
no question.
The Ravens, other than Andrews.
No question. I mean,
yeah, but how many?
Think about if Lamar Jackson had Stephon Diggs right now.
They would have been won the Super Bowl.
They would have been one. That's what I'm saying. Hollywood Brown talking about the system not for me. Bro, all you got to do is catch and the system works.
Yeah, I have no idea what that was about because he was their guy. Like
like, bro,
you're not
getting Devontae Adams targets. Like, you're not that guy.
Right.
Bro, Michael Thomas didn't get Devontae Adams targets. Like that's just such a unfair expectation.
Yeah, I mean, he acts like, he's playing with someone who can only throw the ball and that isn't as dynamic as Lamar.
What's the problem? You don't like to block?
I don't know, man.
Seriously. So anyway, but I don't want to stick to that too long. Lamar, I hope Lamar wins the next 15 MVPs or the next 15 Super Bowls because the fucking hate, it makes no sense.
I'm not going to get deep into it, but how many dark-skinned quarterbacks is there in the league?
Not many.
Exactly. But we know how it is. One more thing. What was I going to say? The Ravens, I just don't understand why they aren't more active in the off seasons, though. Other than losing guys, they just keep losing. They got rid of Ingram, they lost Hollywood Brown, but they don't really do much to improve the roster, which sucks. But hey, they'll figure it out eventually, I guess.
They didn't hesitate, and I know he made a great Super Bowl run, but they didn't hesitate to pay Joe Flacco.
True.
And it turned out to be an awful contract.
Yeah. And I think he's still getting paid from it.
Lamar's putting you in a situation where even when you're selling the fucking offseason, you're still leading the damn division. You're still, if I'm not mistaken, he was on top of the AFC through 11 games.
I think you're right.
Because I remember there was a lot of there was a point of 4 games where the AFC dramatically changed and the Titans came out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
So Lamar was a huge part of that race. And then he gets hurt and all of a sudden he sucks. The Ravens sucked.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I really don't. Mark Andrews is still there. So at least he has one target that he could throw to.
Mark Andrews is getting old, though.
He is. You're right.
So they're going to need somebody soon. And somebody healthy. That's it for me. You got any more?
No, I mean,
obviously. Go ahead.
I wanted to mention some of the young quarterbacks, but I just want to see them play once or twice. Trey Lance is in a tough spot, but
I gotta
see him for a couple weeks before I even set any expectations for him.
Yeah. Who is Cleveland going with? Jacoby?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Could be a good week 1, a little vengeance game for Baker. I mean, it looks like it should be a blowout. Maybe not, because the Panthers are sneaky. They're another team who defensively have better players than you think.
Yeah.
And they were another team last year who wasn't awful midway through the year.
And should have been, but yeah, you're right.
They were I remember was last year. Did they start 3-0 with Sam Darnold? That was them, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and then they
So
just went down the toilet after that.
yeah, so you're not hopeless.
No, you're not.
I hopefully I get that game because I'd like to see that.
Yeah, they should have. And McCaffrey is healthy.
For now, yeah. As
Yeah,
of
their
right
offense
now,
should be
yeah.
straight. Their offense should be straight. I don't. I'm not on the Baker sucks bandwagon. Now, when they hyped Baker up, people who've listened to the podcast for a while will remember me saying I didn't think Baker was that good, but I also don't think Baker is as bad as they're making him out to be either. So it's kind of weird that I'm on
See,
the other side now.
I'm
But
slightly different. I do think he's just bad, but the difference is I would have started him over Darnold like as soon as he got there.
mhm.
I
So
mean,
he's not that bad.
yeah. He's not like doesn't belong in the league. I just don't. I feel like he should have been held more responsible for their struggles last year. I know he was hurt, but if you're
Yeah.
hurt enough to play like trash, you shouldn't be playing.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah,
and a lot of times he
that's
just
fair.
played like trash.
That's fair. I'm with you on that. And when Odell was there, I thought he was
That
pretty bad. I thought he was
Yeah, like
having
he
rough
deserves
times.
a lot of blame for that being like not working out.
Exactly.
And then
Exactly.
OBJ goes to LA and touchdowns. All he's catching is touchdowns.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. I don't know, but I think that Cleveland has been very wishy-washy with their confidence in Baker.
Yeah,
And I think when you're like that, when you have a star like Odell, you don't want to force it to him, even though you can. Like Odell is a guy who you can force it to and it's easy, but you don't want to be that guy when you're really not even sure if the team is fully committed to you. And turns out they really weren't anyway,
right.
you know? Um, so it's a slippery slope with those kind of guys. But I think now that um Carolina is pretty desperate because Darnold is out for how long?
I don't know.
I think he's he's nursing something back. I think maybe not.
I'm
But
not
the
sure. I
new
thought they just
draft,
gave Baker the job.
oh, maybe they did. Okay. Their draft pick is out for the season, so um,
We'll
it
see.
has to be Baker. You know.
We'll see. They're one of those teams that like I can still see them coming out hot to start the year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if Baker gets this dub week 1, he's going to be, feeling real dangerous moving forward.
Yeah.
So if they can run with some momentum off that, I mean, again, to me, Baker's miles better than Sam Darnold.
Mm-hmm.
So you upgraded, as far as I can tell.
Yeah. And Darnold got hurt in the last preseason game. 4 weeks. He's out 4 weeks. So it's like they have no choice but to be all in on Baker for the beginning of the season
Yeah.
at least.
I will tell you what, if worst case scenario, if Baker gets benched for like a week 6, Sam Darnold
Mm-hmm.
might be a wrap for him as a starter.
Yeah, probably.
Like he's
If
not, I'm
it's that
sure
serious, it will
yeah,
be.
yeah. Like if he's really getting bent, I don't mind if he's like, average or not that good because, Carolina's a mystery, but if he's like awful to the point of getting benched,
Yeah. He
where
may
else is
be
he gonna who else is gonna be like, yeah, come start for us?
Yeah, I was gonna say he'll be done in Carolina for sure. Because why pay Baker when you got a rookie, someone will be their
Yeah,
rookie year coming the
yeah.
next year. Pretty high pick. A high caliber quarterback, so 3rd round pick. So yeah. Yep. Okay. You have any other football?
Nope.
Okay. Let's get to it.
a seismic shift of power in the NBA has occurred since we last were on here?
Power to the front office.
Oh, you want to start there? Okay. I was gonna start with the blockbuster trade that did happen.
We'll do
Not
that after
the
this.
Okay, where do you
After
want to
this.
start? Okay.
The last time we potted, back from our month hiatus, by the way. Last time we potted, Kevin Durant was still looking for a new suitor. The Nets were looking for suitors for Kevin Durant. And some nice trade offers came in. Phoenix.
I know we got a chance
Boston.
to discuss the Boston.
We discussed the Boston for a long time.
I remember us talking about that.
Because the other ones got turned down pretty quickly. Boston one was the one that it seemed as if they were going to continue talks. They were going to work it out and see what happens. And nothing happens.
Nope.
Then we hear out of nowhere that Kevin Durant is having a meeting with the Nets front office in Los Angeles, which I never understand why everyone meets in Los Angeles.
Hollywood. I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, Kevin,
I have no idea.
He's on the Brooklyn Nets, so why would they meet somewhere where that isn't even New York at all? Which is strange.
I mean, all I've seen the workouts of him and Kyrie were also in LA, and like Trae Young was there. I'm like, dude, none of y'all are from Los Angeles. Why is
Kyrie
this
is
the place
where he plays?
Anyway, that's a whole other thing.
Yeah, so yeah, it is strange. And Trae loves LA. He hangs out there a lot, apparently. So they had a meeting in LA to discuss
and what did
options in the future.
What did KD demand in that deal or in that meeting? Excuse me. we gotta get the full picture.
Kevin Durant demanded that Steve Nash get fired, basically,
and Sean Marks, yeah,
and Sean Marks, yes, who's the GM. Sean Marks is the GM, right?
Yeah.
So that implies that the meeting was not with Sean Marks, unless KD's really a savage, just said to his face, "I'm done with is either you
go or I go."
Right. So he met with the owners and that was his demands. The Nets countered. I'm not sure the day, how many days it was in between these meetings.
It wasn't. The tweet from Joe Tsai was less than a day later for sure.
Right. Where he stood in support of Sean Marks and the coaching staff.
Yep. It might have been right after the fucking meeting, I swear.
Yeah, it might have been. And then I want to say maybe a week later, another meeting happened and both sides decided that Kevin Durant will stay with the Brooklyn Nets.
We're good.
Yeah, and it's all good. And apparently it was just one big misunderstanding.
Wow.
So the Nets basically had no trades. They just got some pickups, very few roster moves for the Nets. They're basically running it back, and now
but solid roster
Simmons.
moves.
Yeah, pretty solid. Yeah. Now they have Ben Simmons, who we're still not sure if is going to play at the beginning of the season, but he's on the roster.
As long as if he's on the court playing like a garbage, I'll take it. I just want to see him on the court.
Me too, dude. If he's on the court and just plays defense and doesn't even come up court on offense, I'm cool watching.
Do like I'll stay back.
Yeah. I got it. I'll catch up when you come back down.
Yeah.
Another guy who does not nearly get enough credit for his defensive IQ is Ben Simmons, in my opinion.
Yeah.
He's a dude that the more I watch him, when I watch him and I know he's about to play, I notice that he watches a lot of film of whoever he's going to check that night. Yes. He watches film for sure. And if he doesn't, he's one of those guys that, dude, do you remember when you when you played in middle school and your coach told you like whatever hand the player is coming down the court with is his hands,
Yeah,
let him
of
go the other
course.
way, force him the other way.
Of course. That was a big deal in high school, too.
That's bad. That was a big deal in high
Yeah, I
school.
didn't play. My high school area was not at a high level like that.
But yeah, so Ben is one of those guys who can see what you do for a couple possessions, and those couple possessions will be the last time you do it. Because
Yep.
he locks in. So I just want to see that, man. I still watch his masterful game on Luca just periodically, just for fun, just to watch some good
I can't.
lockdown defense.
I can't watch Luca go right 82 times. Like it has to 81, and I'm like, okay, somebody understands. But when it's
Yeah, one
82
player.
straight and 2.5
Yeah,
playoff rounds of right hand whenever I want, step back whenever I want,
yeah,
like, dude, you're making Luca look boring because you're playing with such low IQ.
yeah. And now we'll see what kind of coach Nash is, because when they play them, if he puts anyone else on Luca other than Ben Simmons, I'm calling for Nash's job too. I'm with Durant. I'm standing with Durant after that. But so yeah, Durant is back. They also picked up Markieff Morris. We talked about TJ Warren, Royce O'Neal, Yuta Watanabe they picked up, who I like. Even though he got destroyed by
Yeah, that's
Anthony
okay.
Edwards.
I like that though.
Yeah, at least he went for the block. Hey,
That's right.
take it. Anyone who goes for a block on,
we're not taking those like weak like Derek Fisher charges.
yeah, Steve Nash charges.
Exactly.
Yeah. Everyone else on the staff, coaching staff is back, I believe, except for Amari Stoudemire. I think he moved on somewhere else. Probably do something that actually, could contribute to his career.
I didn't need the Amari stray there. I didn't need it.
How do you feel about this? As far on basketball court, how do you feel?
I mean, I like it, man. I think the Nets already, just from a basketball standpoint, offensively, they're as good as anybody in the conference.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they were that at their best these last 2 years with all the adversity and nonsense going on. So to me, like the Ben Simmons point you made is huge because they're just desperate for a guy who could keep people in front of him.
Yeah.
To me, if there was anything other than KD's poor play to blame for them getting swept, it was the fact that every Boston player got whatever shot they wanted.
Yeah.
So I think that'll be huge. And just getting guys that are tougher.
Yeah.
Like you could tell they clearly valued Bruce Brown because they tried to replace the things they lost with him.
Yeah.
And
Royce O'Neal
man,
is basically the same thing Bruce Brown is, to be honest.
Yeah. He doesn't have the offensive game, but he's just as competitive.
Mm-hmm. He's probably a better shooter, but
3-point,
yeah, just 3-point shooter, yeah.
But that's what they're missing is, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart is playing really physical, and nobody on the Nets is doing anything about it except Bruce Brown.
Right.
So I like them from just a basketball standpoint, but unfortunately, that's not all that it takes.
Right. Just a basketball standpoint.
The same 2K.
I think the Nets. Right. Just a basketball standpoint, the Nets by far have the best talent on a roster in the league. I would think. And you talked about toughness. They got Markieff Morris too.
Right.
I mean, one of the toughest guys in the league. And then Joe Harris is going to be back. I mean, yeah, they're going to be. They should be tough. Yeah, we'll see who emerges as the leader of this team, because it has to change. And I think that if Kyrie and Durant have any humility, which
doesn't seem like it.
Yeah, is debatable if it even exists in either of them. If they do, Ben Simmons, this is your chance to step up and be a leader on a team and really show that, you can really be the point guard on the team, not just some dude who plays point guard on the team, Um,
And
I'm looking forward to it, though.
I'll make a case for them. Ben Simmons really doesn't have to be like an all-around leader. He really just needs to be a leader on the court.
Yes.
Because I think with Kyrie, it's a little different. I don't think so with Kyrie, but with KD, no matter what's going on, like with outside stuff, he could focus on the game. He just needs a guy like hypothetically would be Ben Simmons to lock him into running in transition, getting blocks, rebounding a little bit more, playing with more energy.
Yeah.
Like it can't be Patty Mills trying to make KD do that. It's got to be somebody, in the starting lineup at least.
Yeah. Patty Mills should have been in the starting lineup last year, but you're right.
Right.
The other thing is KD is one of those guys that, and I know I'm the president of the Hate KD fan club, but I will say this about KD, which is what makes him easy to play with. I think for a point guard, he's one of those guys that says, okay, well, what do you want me to do? When you do that, where do you want me to be?
Yeah.
I think he's one of those guys that needs someone to tell him where they want him to get his shots, because he can get his shots anywhere, and he knows that. Everyone in the league knows that. And as I mentioned before, I think he's the greatest open shot maker of all times. If he's open, you can count it most of the time. So I do think that with him and Ben is one of those guys that can go to him and say, yo, I'm gonna come hand off. You be here in the corner. Let's do this. And Durant just says, okay. I think he's one of those guys for sure. I think for the most part on court, I think Kyrie is one of those guys as well. But with Kyrie, it's just you never know when it's going to be Kyrie time or everybody else's time, other than when he just, he sizes up, he backs up and it says, okay, I'm about to take this guy. But other than that, you never know when Kyrie is going to turn on his offensive game and actually go for 40 or just have a solid 16.
Yeah. On 17 shots.
Right. You never know. So, to your point, I think it'll have to be Ben and Kyrie that have a serious conversation, and Nash has to, do something as far as coaching there. D'Antoni didn't come back for them either, I don't think. I think they hired Splitter. I think it's just Splitter there now. But yeah, I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued and I'm excited, even though I'm not a fan of it, really anybody on the roster. I'm excited to see them play. I think they'll be a lot of fun to watch.
Man, this man KD has no shame whatsoever, huh?
Why you say that?
I mean, the either Nash gotta go, bro. We only hired him for you.
Yeah.
Seriously, what other possible reason was there to hire Steve Nash? It was literally only his relationship with KD.
Yeah.
I mean, again, nobody forgot Kyrie coming out. We really don't. This roster don't really even need a coach. One day I can coach, KD can coach. Okay. I mean, Nash clearly isn't doing a good enough job. Why don't y'all just step up?
Right.
That's like, we talked about them in a positive way, but when you get to the playoffs, you got to have somebody to rally the troops when you're not playing well.
Yeah, you do.
And Kyrie, he hates the troops when they're not playing well.
Right.
And then KD just doesn't care.
Yeah. He's very nonchalant when it comes to that stuff. I think that this year Ben Simmons having so much to prove. I don't think he's going to want to be a loser this year. I don't. I mean, that's just, I don't know the kind of guy he is, but not many guys I know would want to be a loser after all the drama he's went through too. And
I can make that case for all three of them.
Yeah. But, bro, KD just like the social media, man, is just getting way out of control. You just see what he said about 2K?
Yeah, the rating shit.
Why is he not 99? Because you're not a 99 player.
KD,
It's simple.
other than shooting attributes, what are you even fucking good at? Honestly. KD, you can have the Kobe fadeaways, the Mike, the mid-range assassin stats, the 3-point, the Steph's 3-point stats. What else are you good at? You don't fucking rebound even though you're 7 feet.
Nope. You block
You
like
only get
one shot a month.
I'm not giving you good assist stats if you only get assists in pick and rolls.
Or after a trap, out of a trap.
Right. Like that's just basic. That's like a basic basketball play. That's not you having vision. KD, when was the last time you postered? When was the last time you postered somebody? I mean, I remember OKC, Beasley, it was Dwight, it was like he was booming on Gortat, Perkins, anybody.
Yeah.
KD, you haven't dunked the damn ball in like 2 years. I know I'm exaggerating, but honestly, he doesn't dominate in any other area except for making open shots.
Yeah.
And he dominates it better than anybody. I'll give it to him.
And his handles are okay. I mean, if there was a rating only for his crossover, that would be 99.
Boston lowered his fucking handles by like 7 rating points.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Just off the turnovers.
Yeah, and he's lucky that Ben Simmons is on his team because Ben Simmons is one of the other only guys that can strap KD's crossover too.
I know.
Ben Simmons waits for that little hezzy cross, just like Westbrook did. You remember when they first split up and Westbrook like stripped it from 3 times in that OKC Golden State game?
That super hype first game. I remember that.
Yeah. I mean, it's not.
KD's been prone to getting plucked by guards his whole career.
Yeah, I've seen CP absolutely, put seatbelts on Durant a few times
in the playoffs.
Yeah, high moments, full court too.
Honestly, LeBron has been, great all these years. LeBron's only been 99 twice. I don't remember I think it was 09 or 08, and then it was the second Miami championship.
Mm-hmm.
He was a 99 the year after.
Yeah, and then he's been like around 97 every other year, or 98.
98, 97, 96.
Bro, Kobe still isn't even 99.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, Durant, you're not 99, bro. And I don't know why 2K won't just add 1 point to Kobe's to make him 99, but they won't do it for Durant either.
Like, bro, first of all, I mean, I think Shannon on Undisputed made the point, like, bro, if you're 99, Giannis is 100 plus.
Yeah.
Like, you don't deserve Giannis. If Giannis starts trashing the 2K ratings, okay, KD, you could come in next and be like, yeah, this shit is whack.
Yeah. But you can't do it after, like, just Clay or somebody did it, which is crazy.
You're tied for second, and you got exposed in the playoffs. You're lucky you're not below Steph and LeBron.
Right.
This guy, dude. No shame whatsoever.
2K was disrespectful, making Clay, Desmond Bane, and Kennard the same 3-point rating.
No, listen, I'm not saying wild. 2K is good at rating people and stats. They're not.
They're definitely not.
They're not at all.
Yeah.
But KD complaining after looking as trash as he did, no shot.
Right. All right.
The seismic shift. I know it still hurts, I'm sure.
I want to pull up the trade, but I can't. I don't have the mental.
You mean the package?
The package that the Knicks offered and got turned down. I think I might be able to remember it, but
we don't have to really deep dive the package itself.
Donovan Mitchell has been traded to the Cleveland Cavaliers. If you are in a cave without Wi-Fi, but you can hear this podcast. I'm sure you already know this. For Colin Sexton, Lauri Markkanen, and Ochai Agbaji from Kansas, who had a great senior season at Kansas.
I was excited about him. I talked about him coming out the draft.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, me, you, and Tyler talked about him. We thought it was going to be interesting. Yeah, man. Donovan Mitchell's on the Cavs, and
Cleveland is officially complete.
Yeah, I would say they're.
What were they? I mean, we talked about him during the play-in. They're missing a wing.
Yeah,
they didn't. He's not exactly a wing, but now you have another shot. Like you have a top 5 shot creator. You have a top 5 leader, a top 5 competitor.
Yeah,
I mean,
just a top 5 scorer, just offensive scorer from the guard spot.
And he's been in a position where he's had to carry the team in the backpack for years.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly, I think it's going to be tough for him initially to adjust.
I agree.
But I'm so happy that we're finally going to get to see Donovan in a position to be an efficient player.
I agree.
Like it's long overdue.
It absolutely is. And this will be a chance for him for the Cavs. I hope that the Cavs will be able to adjust to knowing when it's Donovan time and when, we could play as a team time. And I mean, this isn't just the Cavs. I guess it's a mutual adjustment for both of them because they haven't had a player that could take over since LeBron left.
Right.
So they may not have had a player their entire franchise time other than LeBron that could do what Donovan can do. Yeah. So there's going to be games where they don't need him to take over. And then when the games that they do need him to, they have to let him. They can't have LeVert taking half of his shots. We can't be forcing it inside when Donovan has 38, in 3 quarters, and it's a 6-point game. We got to keep letting him cook.
And I think they're going to struggle with that balance during the year.
Absolutely are. They absolutely are.
Like my initial thoughts is their record probably won't be that great because it'll take some time to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
But
and young anything, players doing that too.
Yeah, so. That makes it a lot more room for error when that's the case.
Yeah.
But my thing is, I look at it from the other way of, I think the Cleveland guys needed a guy like this.
They absolutely did.
Because there was times when Mobley was getting touches and ISOs when he shouldn't have been.
Mm-hmm.
When Garland could have dribbled for 10 to 15 seconds, instead it was 20 to 23.
Yeah.
And I thought their wings, including LeVert and Osman, and even the more defensive guys like Okoro and even Stevens, when the games gets messy, they're taking bad shots.
Absolutely.
Like with Donovan there, we don't need that anymore.
No, you don't.
That's the problem with a lot of teams that don't have a go-to guy, is the bad shots are infected the roster.
Mm-hmm.
With a guy like Donovan, you don't have that problem.
Right.
You don't Stevens, just defend.
Mm-hmm.
We'll struggle. You're built for us to struggle offensively because you're out here to defend people.
Yeah.
And I picture, obviously it's not going to be as smooth as I'm making it seem, but now LeVert doesn't have to try to take over possessions all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Which I thought never really worked with them. I'm not really sure why. Maybe the bigs. Maybe it was that third big. I don't know for a fact, but
it doesn't work because even the bigs, they're very defensive bigs. They're not rebound bad shot bigs like Drummond or like that. And LeVert is a take bad shot player, and not in a negative way at all. I mean, he's good at that. He takes tough shots and he hits shots and he's a volume shooter. They just didn't really have a volume shooter kind of offense, at least last year. And now, they got another somewhat volume shooter they can build around for the whole offseason at least. Plus, Garland doesn't have to worry so much about being a combo guard, because I could easily see games where Donovan has 12 assists and Garland just has 26, 28 points and 2 assists. And he was just feeling it. And Donovan just, ran point for that game as far as ball distribution. I mean, it's very, very, very possible, and a lot of options you have when you have someone like Donovan.
Right. And both of the backcourt, like, I've wanted to see both of them play off ball more. Mm-hmm. So this is like the perfect match because now it's guaranteed to happen.
Yeah.
Like, this is just, there's really no negatives to this trade. I'm very happy for Cleveland, honestly, because like you said, this is probably the best player, like the best free agent they've got or available player that they've got since LeBron.
Listen to their projected starting five. Donovan Mitchell, 26. Jarrett Allen, 24. Evan Mobley, 21. Let's see. Osman is 27. Okoro's 21. And Jarrett Allen is 24. I mean,
how old is Garland? Like 22?
Oh, Garland is 22. 22. That's what I was missing. Garland is 22, man. And Rubio is going to be back too this year. So, I mean, you got a really good backup point guard. Rubio and Donovan sounds great to me. I mean,
I'm gonna be honest. I'm mad I didn't think of this when we talked about Donovan potentially getting traded a lot, and I don't really remember Cleveland coming up if we even mentioned it at all.
I wouldn't have said Cleveland because it's not that different from the Knicks as far as the, having Brunson and Donovan and having, I think Garland is better than Brunson. Brunson hasn't been in the same position Garland's been in, but I think Garland is a little bit better. But a small backcourt, I think we were looking for somewhere where he really just fit in and could. I think we were looking for more of an easier fit for him. I think even going here is not going to be easy.
No,
he's still going to have to.
They still got to
play
figure
some
it out.
hero ball.
Yeah,
he's still going to have to be the hero of this team. I think a lot of times we were looking for teams where it's like if he went to Atlanta, he's the Robin on Atlanta. Even though he may be the Batman talent, Trey still leads the league in points and assists. So it's like it was just going to be really easy. But in this team, he goes and he's the best player on this team already.
Yeah.
And, he may still have to be top 5 in scoring on this team.
So, and he gives them the playoff experience they don't have.
Yeah. If you look at it, this team is built like a younger version of Utah to me. Garland's a better, he's more shifty than Conley, but the inside, Allen and Gobert are pretty similar players in what they do for the team.
Allen's better, but yeah.
Yeah, he's better, yeah. But again, all these guys are more lively. They're more aggressive. They're more athletic. But the rest of the roster is kind of these guys where you just put them in really almost as bodies. And again, no disrespect to them, but Lamar Stevens, Okoro, Dean Wade, Dylan Windler, they're just out there as bodies for the most part. And that's a lot how Utah's second and third string was. Just guys that were just there to just give guys breathers.
But I just like.
But Mobley is the big difference to me. That really makes this team a lot different than what Donovan's played with, and that's an inside presence that can do everything. Because Mobley, even though he's 6'11", he plays a lot like a small forward in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just a slow small forward, but he plays like one. And maybe eventually they'll move him to small forward. They may have to because I'm not sure who starts at small forward now. I guess Okoro, but he's an undersized small forward for them. So Donovan has never had that kind of guy, and he's again never played with young guys. Donovan's the 1, 2, 3. He's the 5th oldest guy on this team.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. Crazy to think about, right? Love, Rubio, Robin Lopez.
Still got Kevin Love, I forgot.
Yeah, and Levert is 1 year older than him, and then they got Neto too. They took Neto from you guys. Then Donovan is right there. Him and Chetty Osman would be, Donovan's birthday was 2 days ago.
I mean, this team, this roster has no flaw. Hypothetically,
I think they'll need
maybe.
I think they'll need a real small forward. I do. I think that might get exposed because, especially in the.
Give me an example
of a player.
Yeah.
It isn't like an obvious.
Like I always go to the perfect small forward. How about Crowder? That's not who I was thinking, but Crowder.
Crowder would be perfect, yes.
Or Finney Smith.
Finney Smith would be perfect, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I was trying to think of other guys in the East because all the guys in the East are all stars. Every small forward in the East playoff teams are all stars.
Yeah,
and that's what's dangerous.
Or scrubs.
In Cleveland.
Well, I mean, like, I guess Kuzma would be a perfect fit. Like Kuzma, for example, would be a great fit for them.
Yeah, if he plays, he would have to play more defense, but he'd be a good fit. Yeah. Yeah,
that's kind of concerning.
Go ahead.
I just think I don't like both of my guards being undersized.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's why I said they would need a real small forward to be there. Because now
that's why tough guys came to mind initially.
Okoro's only 6'5". Even their small forward is undersized.
Stevens is small. Stevens like a guard, right? He's like 6'3", 4.
Yeah. Now listen the small forwards in the East: Jimmy Butler, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, whichever one. You got, I guess, Tobias is a small forward for Philly.
Yeah.
Chicago, DeRozan or Levine, either one. Durant. I mean, even Gordon Hayward, I mean, is a tough small forward for Chetty Osman. No disrespect. So
no, I think like Allen is going to have to be really elite for them to be a good defensive team.
Yeah.
But I just like thinking about the defense, especially in the playoffs, like with alongside 2 small guards, you really can't play LeVert and get stops.
Exactly.
So they're not flawless as far as how it's going to translate. I just don't think the forward is like a glaring need for them.
But to your point, Crowder makes them flawless to me. I mean, Crowder's a little bit old, but a Crowder caliber guy makes him flawless. But again, even Toronto, Siakam and Mobley is a good matchup, but they play 2 other bigs with Siakam a lot of times. And then the Bucks, I didn't even say Greek Freak and Middleton.
Oh, yeah. Fuck. Not to mention, like, Drew Holiday's 6'6".
6'5", 6'6". Yeah,
he's
something like that.
6'5".
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, even like the Hawks go. Hunter is a big small forward. They go kind of 3 big guys.
I mean, even when they had Gallinari, it was a 7-footer essentially playing small forward.
Yeah, so I think that's the one thing that I would say would be the only place I'd see them having an issue. But other than that,
but I think the
other question is, do you want Mobley checking the best small forward on the other team all night?
Oh no.
DeRozan's fouling Mobley out in the third quarter. Mobley's done. Jimmy Butler's fouling Mobley out.
Yeah.
You got to go 3 deep with those guys. And that's just the East.
They're in a good spot because I can make a case for most of the contenders that they can't match up with somebody. We talked about this with Brooklyn not having a big man. You know, the big, you got to guard Bam, Embiid, Giannis, and with Milwaukee, it's like everybody's a damn big man. Brook, Bobby, fucking Greek Freak, Middleton is 6'8", like good God. So it's hard to match up like that.
It's hard to match up, and that's a good point, but Brooklyn can outscore every other player on your team.
But this starting lineup hypothetically can outscore most teams.
No, I don't think so.
What?
No, I don't. On Cleveland?
Yes.
No, I don't think so. No, I don't think so.
Get that MVP, Donovan. I'm rooting for you.
Donovan can outscore every other team by himself.
New team, we're going back to the same Utah shit. We're just carrying the team.
I honestly think that's a possibility, but I think Garland is going to outscore. He's going to be way more aggressive than Conley ever has been. But other than that, I mean, I think they're going to have to rely on him a lot to score. Like I said, I think LeVert is another Clarkson situation for him with Donovan.
Yeah, man. And the other tough thing is, you know, kind of what we talked about with the AFC being so competitive. A lot of the teams in the East are like established contenders.
Yeah.
Milwaukee's been together for a while. Miami has been together for a while. Even Philly, maybe not, but Philly, other than Harden, has pretty much been there for a while.
Yeah.
Tobias
would be a perfect small forward for them.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe not perfect, but his size would be perfect.
He'd be a perfect size. He'd play defense, and he's aggressive enough that you can't just rely on him as just like, oh, we can ignore Tobias. He's just going to play defense. You know, he's someone man. All right, Donovan's not feeling that. I can give you 20.
Cold. He gets cold, and he stays cold in Philly.
Yeah, because he just doesn't get the ball back if he's cold. Like, it'd be just like, all right, you're not playing good, or you're done. I'm done with you.
And Doc only runs plays for him when he's making shots.
When he's on fire.
So such bad coaching.
Hey, Miles Bridges would be cool.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he'd be a nice pickup. He's out there. I mean, I don't know what the situation is, but he'd be a really nice pickup for them. That would be a good option. But
Boston is another team who's an established contender, who's the core has been together a long time.
Yeah,
so really, that's the huge downside. But to me, again, all these downsides are like playoff matchup related.
Yeah, they are.
They shouldn't stop Cleveland from winning games if they could figure out the shot distribution quick enough.
Right. Yeah. I think you said you think they may start out with a bad record. I think they may start out with a really good record, and towards the end of the season is when I think they may have
kind of like Chicago last year
issues. Yeah.
I could see that.
I could see them being on all cylinders until teams start really saying, all right, we need to start looking at the playoffs. Then I think you see some teams going at them more and exploiting the mismatches more and all that stuff.
But just the thought again, but back to just the trade in itself and what it means for Cleveland, the thought of Garland, Mitchell, Mobley, and Jared Allen being on the same roster for like 3 to 5 years
is amazing.
I love it. I really do.
Yeah, me too. I mean, tell you what, I know this is going to sound crazy, but I'm thinking best case scenario, if they had like drafted or Cam Reddish and nurtured him to where Cam Reddish like reached his potential with them, he'd be perfect for them.
Yeah.
Defense, 3-and-D, elite 3-and-D scorer. That's all they need. Because they're going to need someone who can also play
forwards.
Yeah, Cam Johnson would be amazing.
Perfect.
He would absolutely be perfect for them. Yeah. But I think Crowder would be even better because of the experience and because of the grit. And a lot of the guys are kind of soft. I think you said that off air, but it seems kind of soft too. So
Mobley and Allen, like, they're just not. They're not thick, I guess. Like, they don't move people well.
They don't. They don't.
I love both of them, but I just worry Allen. If Allen's facing Embiid 7 games, he's getting in foul trouble 5 times.
Yeah.
If not every game. That's like a best case scenario that 2 games he stays out of it.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, but they have the big guards. I mean, the not big guards, but the big men, twin tower lineup. And a lot of the teams in the East go twin towers and also have a really big small forward. So I think that's the one thing they'll need to address before they start thinking about contending. Because even, Boston and Philly are 2 teams that easily could go 2 big guys in there and then still have a really solid small forward out there. And then Atlanta too. And Chicago now, Vucevic and Drummond, and then still have Levine and DeRozan to play with.
I'm curious which of the 2 progresses faster between Cleveland and Chicago. Because Chicago's held back because injuries have really bothered them.
I think so. I think that was the biggest issue last year. And I think just not being able to, that trade, I think, happened kind of weird late last year, and DeRozan kind of had to take over for a lot of the year because they didn't have the chemistry established. Kobe White came back in the middle of the season.
Patrick Williams came back and was just a shell of himself.
Yeah, he didn't come back till the playoffs.
Yeah.
So, yeah, then they're gonna have Dragic too this year. Drummond is gonna be really good. They got Tristan Thompson last year, didn't really know what to do with him. At least they'll have him for a whole offseason to see what they can do with him there.
He's still
Lonzo
there.
should be back. Yeah, I think so. At least
damn.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Maybe not. We'll see. He's still on the roster right now.
Being able to take Vucevic off the court is a huge W for them.
Vucevic, to me, just being able to get him out the paint is huge.
Yeah.
Because he could be on the court. He plays like a power forward, but they need him to be a center. And now they have someone that can rebound all his ill-advised threes that he takes. He takes, if he can see the basket, he's taking a jump shot. And now they have someone that can get the rebounds. But last year, he was taking jump shots, and there's 4 guards out there, and everyone's just watching the shot go up.
Dude, I'll never forget that game 1, him taking more shots than DeRozan.
It was disgusting.
So bad.
And everyone was out the paint. He wasn't hitting cutters. So it was like, now I think Drummond definitely helps that big time. And even if they went with Tristan Thompson in there with him at the same time, now they know they have a backup. I think the fear of doing that was like, all right, well, if one of them gets in foul trouble, we're shot. But now, okay, we can do 2 bigs because we always have another big if they keep Tristan Thompson, of course. And I was sick of the 4 guard lineup anyway. With Javonte Green,
it only looked good.
Power forward.
I'll be honest, it only really looked good when Lonzo was out there.
Right. Exactly.
So I don't know.
Anything else in the league? Montrezl Harrell got picked up by the 76ers.
Good pickup.
I think really good pickup. He's someone that probably could have helped any team in the East. I can't think.
Funny. It's funny. Doc left Montrezl in during the bubble to get relentlessly cooked by Jokic.
Yeah.
But the guy who backs up Embiid, the one I like, Reed.
Yeah.
Can't, like, we'd rather start DeAndre Jordan than play fucking I don't know his first name. Peyton, maybe? Peyton Reed?
Paul
Reed. Paul Reed.
I think.
I liked him. He wasn't like a major minutes guy, but I liked him out there for, a couple minutes here and there.
He went for every single block. That's all you need from a backup.
That's what I'm saying. And Doc would rather play bum-ass DeAndre Jordan. I didn't forget that either.
Yeah, that was really bad. Especially he played him. He did that after Paul Reed had like a
good game.
Crazy highlight game. Like a couple games where he was like dunking on people, blocking dunks, blocking shots, goaltending shots, and then
he had more energy than DeAndre did, like since his Clipper days.
Yeah.
And yeah. Anyway, but it is a good pickup, and hopefully Doc trusts Paul Reed to get some minutes in there this year.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah. Let's see. Anything else in the? I feel like the Timberwolves picked somebody up. Did I see that, or am I tripping? Pascal. Maybe not. Maybe they didn't get anybody. Oh, we talked about it off air. They got Austin Rivers. CJ Ellaby was in Portland. He had a cool year in Portland. Luka Garza lost like 40 pounds. They picked him up. They picked up Forbes, knockdown shooter, and Eric Pascal, who didn't get enough minutes on Utah. And then they also got Kyle Anderson. We talked about that already. They picked up somebody else too. Maybe not. I guess that's it, man.
Let me ask you an interesting question real quick. I had this debate. Who do you think is winning more games this year, San Antonio or Utah? We were really struggling also.
I'm going to go Utah.
I'm going to count on Colin Sexton's health and also pick Utah, but not by that much.
I'll pick Utah by a lot. The thing is if Conley and Clarkson are staying there, they're going to win some games.
Oh yeah. That's the Spurs. I'm concerned whether they get 10 wins. Like, what does that look like? Like, you know what I mean? Just like, how are you winning? That means at least 2 times you beat a decent, probably a playoff team.
Bro, I'm gonna be honest. This Utah team is not bad. Like, they're not obviously not a playoff team.
They're just random. They're just random. Yeah. That's really it.
Yeah, they're random and they don't suck. I mean, because look, you got Jordan Clarkson, Colin Sexton, Malik Beasley. Those are 3 starter caliber players. Yeah. Jarrett Vanderbilt is a starter caliber player on some teams. Conley's a starter. Bogdanovich, they still have Bogdanovich, Markkanen. They have Whiteside as the center. They're not a bad team.
They got pieces.
Yeah. I'm trying to think the starting 5, I imagine. I don't know if you're moving Conley to the bench yet. I'd move Conley to the bench, and I'd go Sexton, Beasley.
You're starting Malik Beasley?
Yeah, I'd go Sexton, Beasley.
I don't know. Malik Beasley gets him up, though.
He does. I like
him.
it.
Him and Clarkson on the same roster is kind of wild now that I think about it.
Yeah, that's why they can't. One of them has to start. One of them has to be
double up the racks and warm-ups.
Yeah. Bogdanovich at the 3.
Yeah.
Right? Sexton at the 1, Beasley at the 2, Bogdanovich at the 3, Vanderbilt at the 4, and Whiteside at the 5. And you got THT and Clarkson as your backup guards. That's not that bad. They might beat the Kings this year.
Mobley would give Vanderbilt 20 and 10 without breaking a sweat. You're not starting Jared Vanderbilt at the 4 talking about, that's straight. Like, no way.
Markkanen at the 4?
For sure. Finally, bro. I never want to see Markkanen touch the small forward position, bro.
It was cool while it lasted, but yeah, I don't want to see it.
It was cool to think about. It wasn't cool to fucking watch.
Bro, you don't think You really don't think Vanderbilt can start at the 4? You think he's that bad?
I just don't like him at the 4. He's
Oh,
okay.
you like him at the 3?
Yeah.
I got you.
And if Bogdanovich is on some bullshit, throw Vanderbilt out there for as many minutes as he can handle.
As much as you don't want to see Markkanen at the 3, I don't want to see Bogdanovich at the 4 ever again.
Oh, fuck no. If that's the case, all right, I'll take your option.
Yeah, I'm trying. They don't really have any other 4s. I mean, Rudy Gay at 36.
But you can't, to me, like, if you're bringing Markkanen off the bench when you don't really have like a clear-cut guy that should be starting over him.
Yeah, that's true.
You're making him a scrub.
Yeah, because you don't even know where else he goes coming off the bench.
Right.
He's harder to bring off the bench than to start. You're right. Yeah, I don't think this team is. This is definitely not Cheeks. They could beat. They're definitely beating OKC this year. Portland, I think they could beat Portland. They could beat all the bottom tier East teams. The Knicks, the Magic,
Detroit,
Indiana. No, I mean them in Indiana. I think there's a good matchup actually. That's a solid matchup to me. They're in that tier.
Isn't somebody mentioned this to me? I think a lot of the Indiana guys are on a contract year.
Yeah, but they're on a contract year, but like we need to trade them before the season ends contract year. Not like let's see how they play to sign them next year. Like because they've been trying to get rid of Turner and Buddy for like 3 years.
Turner really
they're trying to get rid
time.
of Buddy. As soon as they got Buddy, they said, all right, let's see who, we're looking to trade him.
Yeah.
Turner, his whole career, it seems like they've been trying to trade him. So those two, they're not really contract years. They're like, hey, who wants the expiring contract? Those guys.
I swear they're just all the teams that need a big, Turner's like perfect for. And the fucking Pacers are holding him hostage.
I know, it is kind of crazy. If Utah wanted to get rid of Clarkson or Bogdanovich, Bogdanovich already played for the Pacers, but getting Turner could make them, he could complete their roster a little bit better.
Yeah.
Yeah, give them actual and Buddy.
I could see them fighting for, especially if they get Buddy and Turner somehow and don't lose. I'll say if they don't lose Clarkson, and really Beasley, they could lose anybody else to me.
Mm-hmm.
With those two guys, I think they're at least fighting for a play-in spot the last quarter of the season.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
Again,
Whiteside, I don't know how they're going to do Whiteside at center all season. That's going to be wild.
Yeah, that might be a lot of losses off just that. At least the guy who starts, even though he's a fucking scrub in San Antonio, at least you could trust him to work hard.
That's true.
I don't trust Whiteside to work hard.
I don't even think Whiteside likes blocking shots anymore.
Yeah.
Whiteside's I was about to say Whiteside is 33, bro.
There's no way. He is?
Yeah.
Damn. I feel old.
Right. But you remember he was in the G League for a really long time, I think.
That's right. Yeah.
Like 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, he had that. I remember when he first got to Miami, he had like he was with Golden State for a while before that.
Clippers, I think.
Yeah.
I think he was G League for the Clippers, yeah. All right, man. I think that is it for today. I cannot think of anything else we need to go over, especially in the NBA.
The Lakers got a culture setter. Not going to touch on that.
Lakers got Patrick Beverly from Utah for THT and Stanley Johnson.
I forgot THT's in Utah too. That's actually solid.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The team's not trash.
If they figure out like who should be in the lineup and who shouldn't be, they could be very surprising.
Bro, THT and Sexton alone sounds fun to me. Sounds like a fun watch.
Were they the team that got that random Boston guy to coach?
Yeah.
I take back most of my excitement, but I still like those players.
They picked up Walker Kessler too for
yeah.
That's probably who they're going with at center, not Whiteside for starting, which I think is actually a mistake. I think they should start Whiteside.
I don't know if Kessler's athletic enough yet.
No, he's not. Not from what I've seen. And they got Juzang too, which is he may get some minutes on this team. If they're bad, he may actually to show, his NBA talent. But Beverly doesn't change the Lakers. He doesn't help the Lakers at all to me.
I do think he changes them a lot.
You do?
I don't think somebody had to force people to be accountable last year, and it didn't happen all year.
The problem is, man. Well, I guess so. I don't know. I don't know how receptive they'll be to Patrick Beverly when they have LeBron.
But that's what I love about it. Pat Bev could be off the roster in 2 months.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I like that pickup. I like the pickup for that. I like the pickup. I just don't think it's this is what they were missing, or they're gonna
and I like
team and all that kind of stuff.
I don't like the Lakers try to pretend all last year that Russ's disgusting, awful quality turnovers didn't bother them.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just sick of it by game 60. Well, Pat Bev, he's not going for that bullshit.
No, he's not.
Again, just the turnovers, thinking back to what they actually look like, Pat Bev is calling him out on that shit.
But my problem is, who's going to care is my issue with Pat Bev. I believe he'll call him out. I think he'll say it publicly. I think he'll tell him in the locker room. But I don't think anyone's going to react. That's the issue for me.
Then LeBron is more retired than we thought if he doesn't react at all.
But who cares what Patrick Beverly says? That's what I mean. LeBron can say, "Get Patrick Beverly out of here."
It's not that somebody had to say something last year. And it felt like all year we were just we're still in the play-in hunt. We still got to get healthy. No. You got to fucking guard somebody.
Yeah. I get what you mean. Yeah.
Nobody had a voice
publicly accountable.
Bro, I'm sure if Malik Monk tried to say shit, he would have been off the roster instantly last year. Any of those guys.
You think Pat Bev will have more power than that? Or you're
100%.
You're just glad that he'll do it even if he gets kicked off the roster?
Yes. Pat Bev will expose him mid-season if they're not guarding anybody. He'll get waived and go to another team and be like, "Yo, good thing I left losers."
Yeah, like Jimmy Butler did that
he's
time.
He's been in LA, what, 2 weeks, 3 weeks?
2 weeks, I think, yeah.
Already, I'm not playing with them. They're playing with me.
That's the best line I've ever heard in the NBA.
That's right. I went to the playoffs last year. They did it.
Right.
That's the difference. Thank you. That's all I'm asking. Yo, there's no way y'all got 3 top 75 players and the Spurs were ahead of y'all in the standings by the end of the year.
Was Carmelo not top 75?
4 people.
Yeah.
So if you could escape, your legacy could survive with that happening one time.
Mm-hmm.
If that happens again, it's no longer, Russ just fucking suck. LeBron, AD, really? This all you got? At that point, their legacies are going to be, I mean, AD, his legacy is already a big question mark, but
yeah,
I can't picture LeBron just allowing what just happened last year to happen all year long again.
I gotcha.
There's no way.
AD's legacy is only a quarter of a notch. Well, it's a full notch. It's only 1 notch ahead of Boogie's for me right now.
Yeah.
Boogie's peak was just as good as
Let's be honest,
AD's
if
peak.
Boogie got a healthy bubble run in 2013,
mm-hmm.
he might be a champion too.
Exactly. Yeah. Him, Rudy, and Rondo that
Fuck
time.
yeah.
Yeah, they were kind of fire, low key.
I like it too.
Yeah. One thing about the Lakers, and I say this every year about LeBron and his point guard issues. I think LeBron is better with point guards that are more passive, guys who aren't really good assist guys because LeBron is such a big assist guy.
Yeah.
When anyone else is passing, it just doesn't work with LeBron. Um, I mean, look at all the point guards LeBron has ever played. None of them have ever averaged 10 assists. None of them have
No, for
ever
sure.
been guys who are even capable of averaging 10 assists. So I think Pat Bev fits that perfectly because he just has to be a 3-and-D guy, and LeBron plays point, and Pat Bev just guards the guys LeBron can't guard, the smaller guys. So I think that'll work out well. I don't know how Westbrook is going to fit in there. If Westbrook plays the two, that's cool
There's
too.
no way, bro. This talk of Pat Bev and Russ playing side by side.
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds like the most must-watch disaster I've ever heard of, honestly.
The disaster is Russ and LeBron playing side by side anyway.
For sure.
So
for sure. But
if
it's
Pat
more
Bev's
so
out there
Russ.
with LeBron and Russ, it's even more of a disaster.
But like at least LeBron saves it because LeBron has chemistry with AD or like sometimes the shooters. He has good chemistry with Melo most nights. Like Russ just doesn't have chemistry, period.
I'm with you.
Just does dumb shit.
Yeah.
Hopefully Darwin Ham will they'll listen to him a little bit. Hopefully.
One thing that sucks about Donovan not going to the Knicks. I really think Melo was gonna go there and give it one more.
That would have been nice.
One more go round. That was gonna be his farewell with Donovan too. That would have been cool, but
y'all are just that's the collective basketball fan base will never fall for y'all BS ever again.
I know I won't. And it would have been perfect too, because we would have had to trade RJ. So we would have had a small forward spot open. Melo, we would have been like, Melo, just get some get some cortisone shots and just give it try to start for a full season and see what happens. But it is what it is. We're probably gonna get Gordon Hayward. We've been wanting Gordon Hayward for like 6 years.
Y'all tasting players isn't even that good. Like y'all tasted good players is not even good. Who the fuck wants Gordon Hayward, bro?
You remember though, right?
I do remember that, and I don't understand why. Like Boston got him. Boston didn't get him because they wanted him. He was a good piece to fit the team.
Yeah.
And at that time, he was like Utah. He was like a borderline all-star.
And that was his coach.
But even then, even when he was a borderline all-star, the league was not like, oh my God, we got to get Gordon Hayward.
Yeah, he wasn't a very desirable player at all. And it only really just made sense because Brad Stevens was there. And then like, oh, cool. Him and Brad Stevens, that should be great. That was really it. So anyway, life goes on.
Yep.
Life goes
Sorry,
on.
Knicks fans.
Sorry, Knicks fans.
Gotta wait for that draft pick to hit.
I don't have anything to say. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, I understand.
We're the worst drafting team in the league. Let's trade all the picks. If the same person who has been drafting the picks since Porzingis is still on still on the payroll, just go ahead and trade all the picks because they suck.
Yeah. Honestly,
suck.
man, Cleveland makes like how Cleveland looks now that they got Donovan. It's just an indictment on how trash y'all are. Because if y'all got Donovan, it's the same, like it's just same old Knicks with an exciting player. Nobody was having expectations for y'all if Donovan got there. But Cleveland,
if we had to trade if we had to trade RJ, yeah, I wasn't having expectations either, to be honest with you. Yeah.
Even with
But
RJ, playoff berth. That's cool.
if we had Brunson, Donovan, and RJ, I would have hyped him up big time.
Okay.
I would have.
I would
lie.
have resisted that hype, but okay. Let's say,
probably,
all right, that's decent. But
I might not have.
Your point, though, Cleveland is a contender because they hit on draft picks.
Yeah.
Garland was not a fucking top 5 pick. Mobley was, what, 4th, I believe?
I think he was
or 3rd.
I think he was second.
4th? Second.
Paid him, then Ivy, then not Ivy, then in Houston, Green.
Yeah.
And Kuminga. Those are the top 4. He was top 4, whatever. I think I want to say Kuminga was 4th though.
But Cleveland, like, and this was a knock on Cleveland when LeBron first left, is they couldn't fucking draft.
Yeah.
When you can't draft and you miss on things in free agency, like that's the pinnacle of bottom tier organization.
It is.
And the Knicks do that shit like all the time.
Yep.
At least the Wizards have like fluked me into some hope. At least the Wizards had a whole backcourt that was contending for a second. Maybe not contending, but it was close to contending.
Right.
I mean, the Knicks is just sad.
Mm-hmm. Mobley was 3rd. Yeah.
It's and just Barnes, sad, man.
Suggs.
Honestly, like, in hindsight, I'm like, yo, y'all don't deserve. Not only is Donovan a great player, he's a great local player. He's a fucking New Yorker. He would have been, bro, I would have plastered, if I'm the Knicks, I would have plastered him all over the fucking stadium.
Bro, they got rid of Kimba, so that's went out the window long ago.
Yeah.
Benching Kimba in his hometown is just like a complete spit in the face.
But that...
I know that was Thibodeau, but, bro, then he came out and had 28 like 2 games later. And
it wasn't like right back I hated that. I hated they couldn't guard shit, and it's like Kemba's fault. I hate that.
I know.
But my point is just like, yo, hit some fucking draft picks before you start hyping up the league about how you're getting the next big available good player.
Bro, we're never gonna hit on draft picks, so you never have to worry about that.
Right. That's the sad truth of it.
Toppin is the best draft pick we've got since Porzingis, honestly. Well, Mitchell Robinson was good. But did we? Yeah, we drafted Mitchell Robinson, I think. This is 4th year.
I mean, I like players y'all have got. There's nothing there to put it together.
Yeah, the thing is, even with draft picks, sometimes if you don't have a good enough team that you can let them loose, they never really get fully there, you know? Like, sometimes, like, I would say Orlando's in kind of a situation where every draft pick they get just looks cool for them for a little while, and then they basically have to let them go because they're not going to get anywhere. We're just a bunch of guys who are pretty cool young guys.
Yeah. You know what advice I'll give to the Knicks? Just shut up. Do shit quiet. Yeah. Fail or succeed quietly.
Yeah.
If it wasn't a big deal that Donovan was coming to y'all, nobody would have given a fuck that he went to Cleveland. True. But y'all hyped it up like it was essentially nobody else was dealing for him, and it was just y'all.
Like it was a layup. Yeah.
I'm sick of that shit. KD, Kyrie or KD, nope. LeBron, nope. Enough.
Bro, the year we were going for KD, the Knicks would have been arguably the best starting 5 to ever play basketball. And KD, they hyped it up so much.
No, I don't like y'all organization.
It was gonna be Rose, KD, Carmelo, Porzingis, and Joakim, I think.
Yeah. What's
It would have
what was
been
left of
insane.
Joakim. But Stephen A made the point perfectly when they picked Brooklyn. Like two of the top 10, 15 players specifically had the choice between the two and said, nah, Brooklyn's better.
Yeah.
That's it. You're dead. Like that means the fucking star players think of you as garbage.
Yeah.
You're done.
And the thing is, it's part of it too is the legacy there, the pressure. We put way too much pressure. The Knicks put way too much pressure on their players
I know.
to be good and the Knicks to be good. And it's like, I think going to Brooklyn for them was just like, hey, we don't even have to live in any shadow. We don't have to be as good as anybody. Brooklyn is like brand new. It's only 10 years old, maybe.
Yeah.
At that time. So
That's what it is. New York basketball fans are greedy. That's what the problem is.
Yeah. We want everything to add to the legacy instead of make a new legacy.
Oh, man.
So anyway, that's enough for today.
Yep.
Detroit looks really good, by the way. Pistons, their roster. I look at it. I've been looking at it a few times, and I mean, with the guys that we just handed them for nothing, they look great.
Yeah, I
If
think
they keep Kemba
Cunningham
too,
they put the ball last year in Cunningham's hands a lot, and I think his stat wise, he could really skyrocket this year.
I hope he doesn't. I mean, I hope they don't have him at point anymore. But you're right. Stat wise, he could go absolutely nuts this year.
Yeah.
Especially with Durant, man. I mean, guys like Durant don't win Rookie of the Year, but I think he's going to be. I think he's going to be the most contributing rookie in the league this year. Honestly, I think it'll be. Well, I'll say more like DeSumo was for Bulls. Like he's in games, you notice his impact every game, even though he's not having like the best stats. I think Durant is going to be like that.
Yeah.
You're going to notice his blocks, notice his dunks, his rebounding, but he's just not going to average 20, 10, and 3 blocks a game. He's not going to put up Garnett numbers. Yeah. All right. Thank you for listening.
Real quick, shout out to the overseas guys. They're playing well in FIBA.
Oh yeah, yeah. The
like
overseas games have been the overseas games have been great. Also, I hate that I forgot about this, but the WNBA playoffs have been fantastic. Finals are coming up, I think.
Bro, who's the point guard that just took over the small point guard? She's got crazy range. Oh, dude, I don't know.
Took over what?
She just took over the playoff game, either the last one or the previous one. Oh, my boy was showing me, and it was like it was 3 in somebody's eye, come back, cross over, and another 3 in somebody's eye, come off the screen.
Oh, Chelsea Gray?
Yes.
Yeah. Chelsea Gray she's been going nuts.
Damn, she looked lethal.
And like she just tosses it up there like really quick.
Yeah.
Fadeaways. Yeah, she's been eating all playoffs.
Yeah, bro. It was literally like it was the game was teetering in the balance.
Yeah,
and in like
I know the game you're talking about.
4 shots, she took over. It was over.
Yeah, the other team was like passing around, getting shots, and then she would just come down 1-on-1 bucket.
Yeah, it's over.
She always hits daggers too. She's big for like if she scores and you come down, you don't score, he's gonna score, and it's gonna be a spectacular shot every time.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's the Aces and the Sun in the finals. So she'll be in the finals. I think it's Sunday. If I'm wrong, look it up just in case. But I think it's Sunday. And they've been exciting. Sue Bird is done, but congratulations to Sue Bird on an amazing career. I hope Candace Parker doesn't retire. She's thinking about it, but I hope she doesn't. And the FIBA, that's for the World Game qualifier, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I've seen a lot of the guys. Schroeder got Germany looking good. Obviously, Greece with Greek Freak is playing well. Bosnia and Herzegovina was playing well with Nurkic. A lot of guys are showing out, man.
I
Gallinari
haven't
was
been
playing
keeping
pretty
up.
well before he got hurt.
I haven't been keeping up with the standings though
Nah, me
and the
neither.
records, and I also don't know how it works. Is it the top 3, top 4?
I'm not even sure, to be honest. Luka's another guy who's been playing phenomenal.
Yeah, yeah. I love that stuff, man. I love when they play for the country for real. It's just really nice to see. The patriotism for them. All right. Thank you for listening, everyone. Glad to be back after a little while, a little break.
Sports are
Football
back. We're
season is
back
here.
into it.
Yeah, definitely. Follow us on Instagram, subscribe, notifications. If your notifications are on, you'll know we're back, so that's good. Anything else for you?
No, thank you guys for listening, as always.
All right. We'll see you guys next time.